Who goes there?
Oh. It's you. I didn't expect anyone to be walking the castle gardens this late at night. What are you doing out here? It's midnight. This is hardly the ideal time for a stroll through the flowers. Tending the garden? No. I know the steward put you to work readying the grounds for the midsummer ceremony. I felt your absence in the castle for the last 2 weeks. Believe me. But don't tell me he's making you toil here trimming the hedges and raking the leaves, even at this late hour. You should be asleep. It's not all right. You need your rest, just like everyone else. Yes, I know very well how hard you work. You've served my father's castle since the two of us were children. But you're still a person, not some tireless automaton. I can see that redness ringing your eyes. This isn't healthy for you. Who cares if the garden won't be ready for the ceremony tomorrow? The lords and ladies of our realm aren't so frail and fragile that they'll drop dead just because they have to look on a few overgrown hedges for a moment or two. Besides, your needs matter no less than theirs. Don't ever say that. You're not just a servant. Sure, you are a servant, and I'm very grateful for everything you've done for us. But you're also my friend. And besides, servant or not, you're still a human being. You're still worthy of respect, even if you didn't grow up in a gilded cradle and nurse at the bosom of a duchess. As if nobility is all that matters in this world.
Well then, you can tell him his crown prince says he's never to put you to work outside this late again. And if he disobeys that command, he'll have me to answer to. Damn the midsummer ceremony, and damn him too.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lost my composure there, and I certainly shouldn't have sworn. I know princes aren't meant to curse. I confess, I may have had a touch more to drink than I should have this evening. If only my old governess was still around to see how miserably short I've fallen of etiquette and manners. She'd have a conniption. It's just, I've been having a bad night, and clearly it's affected me more than I thought. That's why I'm here in the garden myself. The scent of freshly dewed flowers sometimes helps me clear my head and heart. No, it's nothing. I don't want to trouble you. You must be exhausted enough already. It'd be cruel to add your burdens with my own. Please, you have my permission to go home and rest. Don't worry. I'll be all right. You really want to stay? All right. Thank you. As embarrassed as I am to admit it, I don't know if I can be alone right now. I'm glad you're here. Perhaps we could sit together? Here. Why don't you set those shears down? They've seen more than enough use for one night. Come join me on this bench. Where should I even begin? It's just one awful blur. Tonight was the first royal ball of the summer. That's where I came from, in case you're wondering. It's why I made this brilliant decision to wear a spotless white cloak in a muddy garden. Not that it's very white or spotless anymore, now that I've worn it out here. The hemline's already stained with mud, and the briar thorns have already opened a dozen holes in it. It was so beautiful. Now it's ruined. I must look like such a mess. Do you really mean that? Thank you. That's very sweet of you to say. Oh, listen to me. I must strike you as so arrogant and oblivious. The spoiled little prince, complaining that his precious clothes got a few specks of dirt on them. As if I have any right to complain about my problems to you. I suppose you're right. We all have our own problems. And they all matter. Great and small. I appreciate you saying that. But truly, I promise I won't be cross with you if... You mean it? You really want to stay? Okay. Thank you. Where was I? Ah, the royal ball. I used to love attending balls growing up, even before I was old enough to dance myself. I'd sit on my father's knee and watch all those fine ladies in their beautiful silks and satins, and the gentlemen's in their tailored leathers, whirl across the dance floor like some great moving tapestry, alive with color. But as I grew older, the more I began to see the tears at the seams, the sneers behind the smiles. It's all so strange and different than it seemed as a boy. Tonight, I was to be the guest of honor, since, well, you know. You don't know? No. I'm sorry. Did I not tell you? You share my company so often, and I thought it was common knowledge. My father, the king, is intent on having me betrothed to be married by year's end. The ball was to be my first introduction to a suitable match from another noble family. I apologize for not telling you sooner. I didn't mean to keep it from you. We're close enough companions that we ought not to keep things like that from one another. Perhaps I thought if I didn't speak it out loud, it would be somehow less real. I always knew growing up that I'd have to marry the one chosen for me. It's just the way it is for a prince. I can't pretend it's a surprise. But I didn't know I would feel like this when the time finally came. Heirs and heiresses from every noble house, from every corner of the kingdom, were there in the banquet hall, each manicured and massaged, just so, dressed in their beautiful doublets and their gowns. They all came to impress. Perhaps it sounds as though it should be flattering, and perhaps for a different prince, It would have been. But for me, it was also wrong. Don't misunderstand me. They weren't bad people. Most were kind or sweet, funny or handsome. All had their fair qualities. But try as they might, they couldn't disguise their true purpose. Their compliments were genuine, and their smiles charming. But they all looked at my crown before they looked at my eyes. It was like when they saw me, they didn't really see me. They saw their ladder to the throne and their chance to rule one day by wedding me. How could they see anything else? I spent hours hanging on the arm of this baroness or that duchess, having them whisper honeyed words in my ear and offer me another bite of spiced toast. I saw them sneak their little glances at my father across the room, to judge if he approved when they thought I couldn't see. On and on it went, a dozen dances or more, until I couldn't take it anymore. It all felt so wrong, like a mockery of what love and courtship should be. I felt horrid. I excused myself, complaining of food sickness, and slipped out the kitchen door. No doubt my father will be making some excuse for me as we speak. He's probably furious I walked out on a night he planned so meticulously. But I couldn't stay any longer. For all my gems and fine clothes, I don't feel like a prince tonight. I feel like a haunch of meat being sold to the hungriest buyer with the fattest pouch. Would any of them truly care for me without my crown? Here, let me take it off. It's such a light little thing in my hand, but am I worth anything at all without it? Thank you. Thank you for saying that. It means a lot. And I already said it, but thank you for being with me. You know, you make me feel like a prince. Why did I tell you? You're not just a servant. You're my friend. Never forget that. You're the only person in the world I feel safe telling this. And, well, now that you're here, and we're talking, I'm starting to realize what I think I've known for a while. Deep down, that is. You're the only one I really feel like myself with. To everyone else, I'm the crown prince, larger than life. They treat me like I'm a couple of blots of ink on some sort of royal family tree, not a person. They can only see their future king, not the shy, sensitive person in front of them. My birthright is like a mask I can't ever truly take off. But you were never like that. You saw me for me. All those wild summers, growing up in the castle together, playing in the brambles and comparing our bruises. All those cozy winters, curled by the roaring fire and reading each other passages from my old storybooks. All the memories by candlelight, playing those little games of fancy we used to. I'm sure your masters gave you hell for not bowing and scraping enough to me as your superior, but, well, secretly, I was really grateful for a friend who treated me like any other. I never wanted to be above anyone. I only wanted to be seen. I don't know how I didn't see it before, or maybe I did. But sitting here beside you now, I think I want to be with you. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm saying. This night it's just taking its toll on me. I'm tired. Forgive me. I've had too much to drink. Please don't think... You do? How, if I may ask? How long have you felt this way? Oh, so have I. There wasn't one moment when I knew. There were just so many. When you stayed up late into the night, reading me stories when I was too feverish to climb out of bed. When the two of us were caught in that storm and had to spend half an hour huddled between the hay bales in the stable. When you gave me that perfect blue rose and that sweet letter on thy birthday. I saved it, you know. I still read it sometimes when I feel unhappy or alone late at night. It still makes me smile just as wide as it did for the first time. I care for you so much. More than I have words to say. Could I have a hug? And that feels so nice and warm. No. Don't apologize. My cloak had plenty of mud on it already. And who cares about that damn cloak anyway? No. Sorry. I shouldn't have sworn. I know princes shouldn't curse, and... Actually, who cares about that either? Princes can say what they like. I don't care about any of their rules. I don't care about fitting into their box. I care about you. I care about us. Just hold me a little tighter. Of course. I'm not a boy anymore. I'm too old to believe fairy tales are real. I know we can't be together the way I want. My father would never accept it. He'd send you away. He wouldn't be moved by my words or my tears. All he'd see is his son, frittering away his precious royal blood on some servant. He'd never understand. But we don't have to think about that now. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me tonight. Perhaps we'll find a way, somehow, to be free one day. But for now, let's just sit here in the garden and enjoy this moment. Speaking of enjoying this moment, there's one thing I've dreamed of doing for a long, long time now. Close your eyes, please, and lean forward. Did you like it? So did I. And whatever happens, whatever they say, they can never take that away from us. Here. Let's sit down now. Do you mind if I lean my head on your shoulder? Thank you. This feels so... It feels so right. I don't know how I ever lived without this feeling. We'll have to get up eventually. But we can stay here a little longer. Let's just sit together here and hope morning never comes.